This episode is brought to you by Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is the ultimate all-out warfare experience. Rip through the skies in aerial dogfights. Demolish your surroundings for a strategic advantage. Harness complete control over every action and movement using the kinesthetic combat system. Drop into multiplayer with your squad, or fight furiously as a member of the Dagger 1-3 squad in a gritty, adrenaline-fueled single-player campaign where you'll defend a world on the edge of collapse.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for this day.
Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and we're going to just jump right into the news. We've got a handful of news stories just to look at real quick, and then we are going to camp on one particular story, which is Nintendo versus Sony. What happened back in the day, and why are we talking about it now? Well, we'll jump into it at the end of the episode here, but first, looks like Lego Batman. Lego Batman is going to be visually better than anything that we've seen before. This is from developer TT Games. They said they are doing everything they can to make sure it is visually better than anything they've done before, which I don't know if you guys have already seen this game. It looks amazing. Like, it looks amazing. It looks like a sequel to one of the Arkham games, but it's in Lego. So I'm really, really excited for this one, which is kind of crazy to say. I mean, Lego games are kind of like, I feel like they're almost like cotton candy. Like, you just kind of like, they're fun. I do feel like, I remember when Ninjago came out on the Switch, and I was like, this is a step up for Lego. This feels more like an arcade beat 'em up than your typical Lego game. Star Wars with a little more like your typical Lego game, but there's potential there. So I see that Gaming Otter is here over hanging out on X. Thank you so much for stopping by. We got a few other people jumping into the live stream, so welcome on in, everybody. So yeah, Lego Batman, one I'm definitely excited about, and keep an eye on this one. It's honestly impressive. So if you haven't seen any trailers for this yet, make sure to go and check them out because it's pretty cool. Okay, Pokemon. Pokemon has been in the news for not the greatest reasons today. And I don't know. Some of the stuff is a huge bummer. Is a huge bummer in my mind. This is a PSA from Nintendo Life. It says Pokemon Legends ZA is already being data mined. Watch out for spoilers. Secrets from the game reportedly leaked online. So this is a bummer. We got just a couple days before this game releases, and we're having to deal with this stuff. And it is so unfortunate. Like, so unfortunate. And unfortunately, it gets even worse for Pokemon. The leaks are just out of control right now. And you hate to see it. It takes the fun out of so many things in my mind. So I'm not a huge fan of this. Just taking a quick peek at the article. It says, according to IGN, there's evidence of early copies filtering out into the wild, which has reportedly led to details about the game leaking online. Without going into specifics, there's word of even more new Mega Pokemon. This might not be the biggest surprise, considering the Pokemon Company has already revealed multiple new Mega Evolutions. Some websites are also sharing secrets from the game, which are now popping up on social media platforms, subreddits, and other community spaces online. To make it clear, we won't be sharing any major spoilers, and neither will I. That's just not, to me, it just takes the fun out of this stuff. It leaks, spoilers. It's not it. So I see Goto 10 is here hanging out. What's going on? Welcome on in. Good to see you. So, if you're on social media a lot, make sure to mute Pokemon, use those tools to mute as many words as possible if you don't want to see spoilers and whatnot, because they are out there in the wild, and that is just no fun at all. So be very aware that they are there. According to Nintendo Life, Avatar: The Last Airbender is getting its very own Switch 2 fighter next year, which is pretty cool. Just a little blurb about the game. It says 12 playable characters at launch, with many more released via season model. Selectable support characters influence your fighting style and grant special moves. Unique flow system with movement-centric gameplay. Single-player campaign with original narrative. Combo trials gallery mode, and best-in-class netcode and crossplay. Ashley asks, are you console warring? No. No, never. The thumbnail I know says Nintendo versus PlayStation. There's a reason for it. It's in the news, and we're gonna take a look at the history. So you will never hear me console warring. I am a fan of all of it. I will poke fun and definitely make fun of people that do console war, and I may say some things periodically to poke the bear, if you will, but that's only just because I like to have fun with it. So anyway, the screenshots for the Avatar game look cell shaded, looks a lot like the cartoon, and looks pretty cool. So if you are a fan of that series and you want to take a look at the fighting game, it is going to be, I'm seeing, it looks like summer of 2026. So if you're a fan of fighting games and a fan of Avatar, definitely something to check out. I want to make sure it's looking like, I don't know if I saw I want to see if I saw a different release date for like Steam or something, but I don't think that is the case. So anyway, moving right along here. Takahashi Izuka explains why Sonic Racing Cross World has been delayed on Switch 2. And this is, again, Nintendo Life article. It says Sonic Racing Cross Worlds is out now on Switch with suboptimal performance. And it's true. When I first played the demo, it was on Switch. Was not a huge fan. Was not a huge fan. Many fans are eagerly awaiting its eventual release on Switch 2. In a new interview with Traxion series producer Takahashi Izuka explained why the game needed more time before launching on the Switch 2. And his reasoning was pretty much in line with what you would expect. Supposedly, the Switch 2's launch date of the 5th of June meant the development team needed simply more time to optimize the game properly. We wanted to release the Switch 2 version at the same time as other platforms, but because the console's release date was later, we wanted to make sure we could provide a game that optimized the new console. Nevertheless, Izuka stresses that the game will achieve content parity with other platforms, including the Switch. One reason for this was the cross-play capability, with Izuka stating it's important for people to get the same level of experience no matter what console they're using. It has not been confirmed whether Crossworlds will max out at 4K resolution on Switch 2, but we're expecting 60 FPS gameplay at very least. Only time will tell, but hopefully we won't have to wait too much longer see exactly how the game runs on Nintendo's console. Now, I downloaded this game on Xbox Series X, the demo, just to give it a go. I wanted to give it a fair shake outside of what the Switch version demo that I played on my Switch 2, because it really wasn't super fantastic. And so I really wanted to give it a go. Still wasn't for me. You guys have heard me talk about it on here before. I'm just like, Mario Kart has got its hooks in me bad, like so bad. And I'm absolutely loving Mario Kart even more. I have just started getting into the competitive side of things. It's a slow start for me, but I am having a lot of fun with the game. And I just was not getting that feeling from Sonic Racing Crossworlds. That being said, I know a lot of people love it, and that is fantastic. And like I have said before, I hope Nintendo takes a few pages out of the book of Crossworlds and utilizes that with like warp pipes or something else, because there are some cool ideas that that Nintendo could pull off with Mario Kart World, or potentially the next Mario Kart game way down the road. But I would love to see World just get some of these updates and continue to be built upon, so that it ends up being just that complete package. So we are eagerly waiting for the Switch 2 version of Sonic Crossworlds, but we do not have a date at this time. Speaking of Crossworlds, though, the first premium DLC pack is now available, and honestly, I'm a little bit jealous. Steve is joining Sonic Crossworlds this week. The new paid Minecraft DLC is coming out this week. It adds Steve, Alex, and Creeper as playable characters, along with a Minecraft-themed track. Sega's also released a new trailer showcasing the new content. The Sonic YouTube channel hosted a special live stream to celebrate the DLC release as well. So if you want to go and check all of that stuff out, it is available on YouTube, or head on over to Nintendo Life, where I'm at right now, and you can get all the details as well. Taking a look at some of the other packs coming out: SpongeBob, Pac-Man, Mega Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Avatar Legends. The Switch 2 edition of the game is also on the way, but we don't have a release date yet, which we just talked about. So that was just from the article there. Super cool to see. This is like this is giving me Smash vibes, right? Like when we would get the fighter pass and we would see the different fighters coming out. Like, this kind of stuff is exciting. Having a roadmap like this is very exciting. And I want Mario Kart to have something similar. Like, Sonic is doing some things that I wish Mario Kart was doing also. I love seeing this. I also think it is hilarious to see Minecraft interacting, like Minecraft characters, like interacting in games that are not just the pixel style that Minecraft is. I think it's so funny. Steve, to me, is one of the most disrespectful characters in Smash. It feels like he is not paying attention to you whatsoever, that he's just focused on mining. And I have a feeling it's going to be very similar when it comes to his racing in Sonic Racing Crossworlds. There's a tweet from Sonic Racing Crossworlds that shows Steve, the Creeper, and Alex, and the cart. They're just in their cart. It's not like they try to convert it into some fancy go-kart or, crazy car. Nah, just the minecart. Straight up minecart. Like, couldn't be more plain, couldn't be more boring, but honestly, I think it's amazing. I think it's pretty funny. So there you go. That is going to be launching this week. Notorious group Crimson Collective claims to have hacked Nintendo. It's again from Nintendo Life, and it says its legitimacy is unproven. Nintendo is known to be extremely litigious when it comes to protecting its intellectual property, but the company may have quite the battle on its hands if recent claims are proven to be legitimate. Hacking group Crimson Collective has claims they have breached Nintendo in what may be one of the most high-profile hacks in quite some time. The group has included an alleged screenshot as proof of its actions, which include a bunch of folders related to production assets, admin, previews, and more at Nintendo. Yeah. So it says at the time of writing, Nintendo itself has not issued a statement on the alleged attack, so it's difficult to ascertain the legitimacy of these claims for the time being. We've reached out for comment. We will update you if we hear back. And again, this is from Nintendo Life, and I don't quite understand the reasoning. I don't know why. I don't know why people do this. I don't get it. And if this is real, it looks like there's going to be even more potential leaks, which again, to me, it just takes so much of the fun out of the stuff that we do, like getting to see directs and finding out what games are launching and what's coming out. And
Purina believes no one should have to make the impossible choice between their own safety and their pets. But nearly half of domestic abuse survivors delay leaving because they can't bring their pets with them. Through the Purple Leash Project, Purina is helping create more pet-friendly domestic violence shelters so survivors and their pets can escape and heal together. Visit Purina.com/purple to learn more.
Big news! Sephora is now on Uber Eats. So if you find yourself facing a beauty emergency, like needing a last-minute gift, or you're just out of your favorite mascara, again, don't panic. We got you. Order now and get $10 off on Sephora orders of $50 or more on the Uber Eats app. Order now. Offer ends October 30th. One order per customer. Additional terms apply. See app for availability. Delivery fees may apply.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Did my card go through?
Oh no.
Your small business depends on its internet, so switch to Verizon Business. And you could get LTE business internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data for unlimited business.
There we go.
Get the internet you need at the price you want. Verizon Business. Starting price for LTE business internet, 25 megabits per second unlimited data plan with select Verizon Business smartphone plan savings. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Tic Tac. Your boss is going off at you for missing a deadline and you swear the clock just moved backwards. Suddenly, you remember the pack of Tic Tacs on your desk. Now you're riding horseback on the beach, the smell of citrus in the air. And what's this? Your boss is sitting behind you, breathing heavenly fresh mint. Refresh your mouth and mind and share your good vibes with Tic Tac.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. And I hate seeing this kind of stuff. I didn't even like when we were getting information from the court documents with the Fortnite case. It's like that kind of stuff is not meant for the public eye, and there's reasons that we don't hear about it or see it. And so I'm completely okay not knowing and not having all of these details, and then we can find out what they want to release when they want to release it, and that's enjoyable to me. That's what makes it the most fun. So really kind of a bummer seeing this kind of stuff. I'm not a fan at all. Assassin's Creed Shadows Switch 2 rating spotted online. Looks like update game keycard physical listing surfaces. So there is, we're going to see another game keycard, which I know everybody loves. But after a rating in April and comments from Ubisoft's CEO about some new versions of Assassin's Creed Shadows in July, a physical Switch 2 game keycard listing has now been spotted on a French retailer website. And you can take a look at the box art. Ubisoft hasn't officially announced Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming to Switch 2 at this stage, but it's pretty much all but confirmed at this time. So Ubisoft seems to be one of those companies that is very on board with Nintendo and trying to get as many of their games as possible onto the Nintendo consoles. And so hopefully, once we finally get an announcement for this game, we'll see how it runs. Star Wars Outlaws has been doing pretty well as far as the updates to the gameplay. I'm not sure about the sales, but they have put some work in trying to get that game looking as good as possible. So I'm curious what kind of magic they're going to work behind the scenes on Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I know very little about Shadows, honestly. It's not really a game that's been on my radar. The Assassin's Creed games aren't ones that I typically play. I think I played through the first one. I may have played a little bit of the second one, and they just haven't done a whole lot for me. It's just not been a series that I've spent that much time with. That being said, I love seeing more games making their way to Switch. It's just all about making sure that they are optimized well, that they run well, and that is a good spot for people to play if that is the only way they can play these games. And if they want to play them handheld, of course. So excited to see that Assassin's Creed is making its way to Switch 2. Now, we are going to switch over into our main headline, which is Nintendo versus PlayStation. Here we go. All right. Well, there was an interview that happened recently with Shuhei Yoshida. And his quote says, Nintendo helped create its biggest rival, which is very true. So in a twist of gaming fate that that's making headlines this week, former Sony Interactive Entertainment president Shuhei Yoshida says it's almost helpful that Nintendo canceled the Nintendo PlayStation project back in the early 90s. If you're not familiar with the story, here's a quick refresher. In the early 1990s, Nintendo and Sony were actually working together on a CD-ROM add-on, the Super Nintendo. It was called the Super NES CD-ROM, or sometimes the Nintendo PlayStation. The idea was simple. Play both NES, SNES cartridges and a new format of CD-based games. But the deal fell apart after disagreements over who would control the licensing and the profits. Nintendo walked away from Sony and briefly partnered with Philips, which also fizzled, while Sony took what it had learned and built its own console, the PlayStation. Released in 1994, the decision changed gaming forever. Now, in an interview this week, Shuhei Yoshida reflected on the breakup and said, quote, "It was almost helpful that Nintendo canceled the project. Otherwise, the Sony team would have been stuck as part of a Nintendo system." He went on to say the split allowed Sony to innovate freely, ultimately leading to the rise of the PlayStation brand. Yoshida even joked that Nintendo essentially created its own biggest competition, adding that competition between Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox today keeps the industry healthy and creative. And he's not wrong. Without that split, we may never have seen 3D gaming take off the way it did with the original PlayStation, or with the rivalry that pushed Nintendo to create systems, the Wii and the Switch. No, we're not going to mention the Wii U. I don't think we're mentioning the Wii U, but yeah, it's so interesting the way this all went down. And if you dig deeper into the history here, it's something else. I will say that. So lastly here, so Yoshida says Nintendo helped shape the competition we all enjoy today. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think? Did Nintendo make a mistake, or did the split actually make gaming better for everyone? And it is one of those scenarios and one of those things to look back on that is just, it's kind of bizarre. It's kind of bizarre. Sony thought the deal was done, and Nintendo gets up on stage and says we're partnering with Philips, and Sony's in attendance, just looking on, going, "Wait, what?" And they did not take it lightly. And I honestly do think, I'm of the mind that the industry is better because of it. It is the competition is good. And I think, when Xbox and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 were really, really going at it, the Wii was overdoing its own thing and just selling so many consoles. Do I wish, looking back, that there had been some kind of Nintendo PlayStation? Part of me does. Part of me feels like we missed out on a lot of what could have been, right? And we also missed out a lot on, like, a lot of the disc games. There were the Famicom disk system, the Nintendo 64 DD, right? The states didn't really get much when it came to disc based games from Nintendo. And so I do wonder, like, what would the 64 had looked like if they had started putting discs in to the Super Nintendo? We can look over at another company that was, getting into adding so many different components onto their 16-bit system. Take a peek sometime at a Sega Genesis with Sega CD and 32X. It is a monstrosity. It is an absolute monstrosity of a system that ultimately didn't go on to do very well. So it's really interesting to think about in an entirely different timeline. Would the 64 have ended up being a disc-based system and not cartridge-based? Would the SNES have been the last cartridge-based system if this deal hadn't fallen through? Would we have essentially gone from the Super Nintendo to the GameCube? And if you think about a system, like the PlayStation and the 64, like, would Nintendo have gone all the way up to 64 bits, or would they have done like Sony did and just stayed 32 bits? And then what happens with all those other with all that IP? You've got games like Final Fantasy, the Crash games. There's a lot there. There's a lot of history. Where would they all have ended up? It's kind of fun to sit and think about that and pick that apart, because, like, we really have no idea. We really have no clue. But the history of Nintendo and PlayStation is something that is kind of crazy when you look back on it. And I believe the guy's name was Olaf Olafsson, and he sat in the audience and he was not happy. And he was like, "Okay, you guys are going to pay." Like, it definitely motivated him to make sure that Sony got into the console market and made a name for themselves. And a lot of it had to do with what went down that day with Nintendo, Sony, and Philips. And, Philips, what's kind of interesting is that deal went on to help Philips put out Nintendo's IP on their CDI console. But those games were not well received, and they were not well made. But that was part of the deal that was made, is that they would have access to some of Nintendo's IP. And it didn't really turn out very well for them either. So, very interesting time in gaming back then. If you get a chance to watch something like Console Wars on Paramount Plus, do take the time and do that. it is so intriguing, just so intriguing learning about these different deals that should have happened and didn't, and the way they were just, you would assume they would all be handled very professionally, not Sony finding out from the stage that Nintendo's not partnering with them, but partnering with Philips instead. Like, I want to know what happened behind the scenes for that to go down, for them to be so almost petty, if you will. And the fact that they were led on up until the point that the announcement came, and they weren't the partner any longer. Very strange. To me, it is super, super strange, but also very interesting. And it changed the trajectory for gaming at that moment. That moment was pivotal because it literally was the birth of the PlayStation at that point. And like they were saying, competition is it in the industry keeps things healthy and creative. It's just right now in the industry, it's such a strange place. Such a strange place. So we'll just have to wait and see what the future holds there. But kind of cool to take a little trip down memory lane and look back at Nintendo, at PlayStation, and the way this deal was literally the birth of Sony PlayStation. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here live with me. I really do appreciate you. And we will see you all in the next one. Remember, play it loud.